Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is August the 19th, 2024. Hopefully, this episode finds you well, in good spirits, and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. Let's see, work was solid. It was slow like the whole day, so that was nice. Felt pretty relaxing just to kind of, knock it out, hang out, knock it out, hang out. Sorry if you heard my water bottle fall. My bad. But yeah, overall, today went well, so we love to see that. We love a good Monday where we just get that lasagna and go. Excuse me. Hopefully you got your lasagna. Hopefully things were good for you today. Let's see, but let's go ahead and flash back to yesterday. Talk about the food corner and what I did, I guess, which was not much. I pretty much just potatoed out all weekend. I feel like I slept a lot, which, I need it. Just like we need the rain, it just is what speaking of the rain, speaking of the god dang rain, so I went on my walk after recording, and sure enough, there was like this big, like comically large, like dark cloud outside. And I'm like, okay, yeah, but overall, like, there's still blue out. Like, I should be fine. I should be able to get my walk in. We're just looking at partly cloudy here. But sure enough, that cloud seemed to expand or move upon me, or it didn't go anywhere, whatever. And next thing you know, I'm just getting rained on, just fully soaked, saturated. And I had like, I'm not gonna lie, I had like a mini like freak out for some reason. Like, kind of like how, like, if you ever like try to stick your head out the window and you kind of can't breathe, that's how it kind of felt for some reason. And it was just more in my head because like once I kind of got to a dry spot, like just a little like leafy area, and I just like took a couple breaths, I'm like, I'm fine. I think I just really didn't want to get wet, and it's okay, it's fine. We just gotta finish the walk and get home. And then, of course, like maybe 5 minutes from that point, the rain stops and I'm just walking around drenched. But hey, I'll take it. At least, I got my walk in. I think that was the first time that's actually happened to me this whole summer. So, I count my blessings. I'm pretty lucky. Usually it's just like a little mister. It's even nice. But yeah, that time I got drenched. So that happened. But like I said, I pretty much napped for the rest of the day after that. Let's see. Food corner though. Let's talk about the food. I finally got my pizza in. We went to Domino's. They switched up the deal on me, so we had to get a large pizza for $6.99. Oh no! But like, hey, that's a good deal, and I wasn't forced to eat like two large pizzas and like feel bad about it or not finish it and feel bad about that. So it was nice just getting one pepperoni and pineapple pizza with marinara. Kept it. I feel like that's pretty classy. That's a pretty classy pizza for me. The New York style crust, overall, it was good. It was yummy. Mission accomplished. So yeah, that's how I closed out my weekend. That's how I worked for today. Things were good. The vibes were tight. They were cool. So yeah, like I said, hopefully you had a good day as well. Let's go ahead and do our startup and get into some news. Let's go ahead and yap about that now. Ooh. Okay. Our first story comes from The Hill. Volcano erupts in Russia after 7.0 magnitude earthquake. A volcano has erupted in Russia after a 7 magnitude earthquake struck off the eastern coast of the country, according to state-run media. The Russian news agency TASS reported that the Slevuk, we're going to say Slevuk, sure. Slevuk volcano in the region of Kamchatka started to erupt Saturday. CNN noted that the volcano is about 280 miles from the coastal city of Petropavlovsk-Kamchatsky, which, has a population of 180,000. Scientists told TASS that the ash column is rising up to 8 kilometers, about 5 miles above sea level. The volcano has also released a gush of lava, according to TASS. TASS reported that the daily lives of the residents in the area were not affected by the eruption, just that ashfall may be reported in the nearby populated areas. The earthquake struck about 63 miles east of Petropavlovsk, Kamchatsky, and occurred 18 miles below the surface, according to the U.S. Geological Survey. So yeah, that was the thing that took place. I literally noticed it as I was setting up for the episode yesterday, and I was like, we'll just go ahead and cover it tomorrow. I don't want to say surprised, but like for me as an Ohioan living in the middle of the Midwest, like when any like a situation like this happens, I would just think I would be freaking out. Like I would just be ready to evacuate. So whenever I hear like, oh yeah, nothing was really affected, but then you see some of the pictures and it's like, this looks crazy. This looks like I wouldn't want to be anywhere near this. Looking at these ash plumes and all that, like seems like crazy major disaster. But overall, things are seeming to be unaffected and people are a-okay. So that's good news, but still pretty crazy happenings. Let's see here. I guess there's also, Russia, Ukraine updates, but I really didn't want to get into that today. Ukraine is still, trying to make pushes, though it seems like I don't know if they made too much more ground or progress there. It does seem though, and even like the media has kind of come out and like repeated this now, where it's like, yeah, they are trying to secure territory, in a potential inevitable future, kind of trade for land in the future when we actually come to the table to do peace talks. I kind of haven't really talked about that since the last time we spoke about Russia, Ukraine in general. Also I think they've blown like a bridge or something like that or two in terms of from the Ukraine side. But anyway, I'm in the weeds. We weren't here to talk about that. We're here to talk about earthquakes and volcanoes. But yeah, let's go ahead and talk about another natural disaster and some stuff that seemingly seems a bit more unfortunate from people. 6 passengers, including 2 Americans, missing after a 180-foot yacht sinks amid storm in Sicily. 2 Americans are reportedly among the passengers missing after a yacht sank in a storm off the coast of Sicily. The search for 6 people continues after a 56-meter or a 183-foot yacht carrying 22 sank in the island's Palermo. Yeah, I think it's Palermo. We're going to say Palermo area in the early morning of midday August 19th, according to reports. The Italian Coast Guard said in a statement per The Guardian, this morning at about 5 a.m., following a violent storm, a 56-meter yacht called Bayesian, flying the British flag, sank near the Porticello. Eyewitnesses reported that the yacht was anchored when it was struck by a tornado over the water, known as a waterspout, and lost its balance, causing it to sink, per Sicilian news agency. So I didn't know, what exactly was a waterspout. I initially kind of, grazed over that when I was reading, and then I saw in the comments people were going off. Maybe in the initial posting of this they didn't call it a water spout because people were just going off about it. They were just all it was, and then eventually someone's people died and there's people missing, but you guys got it right, it's a water spout. But yeah, I see that it's at least correct here as of reading it now. Eyewitnesses reported that the yacht was anchored when it was struck by a tornado. I already read that, I'm sorry. The body of a man who was identified as a cook on the boat from Canada was recovered near the vessel on Monday morning. Local outlet Palermo Today reported. 2 of the missing were later identified by authorities as a tech entrepreneur, Mike Lynch, and his daughter, Hannah, who is believed to be 18. See if I scroll ahead here. 2 Americans and 4 British travelers are still among the missing as fire and water rescue teams search and try to locate them, per ANZA and local news outlet Corriere della Sera. Let's see. One of the rescued was a 1-year-old English girl named Sophie. She was sent to the Children's Hospital of Palermo, where she was reunited with her mother, who received minor injuries in the incident, per Anza the Independent and Carriere della Sera. The pair remain in good condition. The head of the emergency room of the pediatric hospital, Damasio Kipola, sure, confirmed to a latter outlet. The father was sent to the civic hospital in Palermo, and 5 others rescued were transported to an emergency point at another hospital, Anza reported. Let's see here. It's also believed, sadly, that there's a chance that some of the remaining people are trapped inside the hole, and that if that's the case, it's going to be pretty, I would imagine, hard to get to them in time in that kind of situation. But, I don't want to be negative, speculate in any kind of negative way. We'll just kind of see how things shake out, and hopefully I will be back in the future with a bright update, but we will see all the same. But yeah, obviously a pretty unfortunate incident. I don't know why though, and I know maybe this is totally wrong to be thinking about, but this has the same vibe to me as the submarine thing, because I just don't I don't know, I'm just too poor to ever imagine myself on a fucking yacht, dude. It's just weird. I've been on a boat before, when I was doing some field trip stuff as a kid, in Washington area or whatever. But that wasn't a yacht. That was just on a straight shot kind of situation on a little river kind of thing. I don't know. The idea of being out in any kind of body of water on a fancy yacht seems I don't know. I don't want to say that they had it coming. At the end of the day, what's a 1-year-old got to do with all that? You know what I mean? Obviously. But I just can't shake that thought in my head. So here I am saying it out loud to the few people who listen. But anyway, like I said, I'll keep you posted, and hopefully there will be better updates. But yeah. Anyway, let's move on. Got some news on old George Santos. George Santos update from ABC News. George Santos pleads guilty to wire fraud, aggravated identity theft. Scamming. Former Representative George Santos, Republican from New York, on Monday pleaded guilty to wire fraud and aggravated identity theft, and admitted he committed other crimes that could land him in prison. Sorry, I got a thing in my way. For about 7 years under the terms of the plea agreement with federal prosecutors. Santos, in gray slacks and a black sports coat, told the judge that he is committed to making amends and learning from his experience. Though I do want to add, lest I forget, that despite pleading guilty, he is not saying that he feels guilty. Hopefully we can get to the quote, but Santos pleaded guilty to claiming relatives had made contributions to his campaign when in fact they had not. Santos conceded he was trying to meet the fundraising threshold to qualify for financial help from the National Republican Congressional Committee. Santos also stipulated that he committed other fraud, including charging donor credit cards without authorization and convincing donors to give money by falsely stating the money would be used for TV ads. He also stipulated he stole public money by applying for and receiving unemployment benefits during the pandemic, to which he was not entitled. Santos conceded in a statement to the court his actions betrayed his constituents and others. Santos must pay restitution of nearly $374,000 in forfeiture of more than $200,000. Here we go. Here's what I wanted to read up to. Let's see. Fighting back tears outside the courthouse after his plea, Santos said he was flooded with deep regret for his conduct. He vowed to accept responsibility for his actions while apologizing to his former constituents for allowing ambition to cloud his judgment. This is what really got me. This plea is not just an admission of guilt. It's an acknowledgement that I need to be held accountable like any other American that breaks the law, Santos told reporters. It is clear to me now that I allowed ambition to cloud my judgment, leading me to make decisions that were unethical. Pleading guilty is a step I never imagined I would take, but it is a necessary one because it is the right thing to do. I'm glad that he kind of has this come to Jesus moment now. Better late than never. But at the end of the day, I guess what I loved about Santos so much was that he faked it till he made it, and then went beyond and was like, I'm going to stand on this business. I'm going to lie even more. So now that the jig is up and now, that you're actually facing this time, the mask kind of finally comes off. And it's that same kind of disappointment that, like, I guess I kind of had with Alex Jones, where, he's this bungling buffoon spouting conspiracy theory after conspiracy theory. And it's like, yeah, some of these conspiracy theories are dark and crazy and completely fucked up and are ruining people's lives. But then when it comes down to it, this person just like, oh, well, if I actually have to face real jail time, if I'm actually have to, like, gonna give up my actual money and, like, it's everything, maybe I will just come clean and say this is a bit. This is the real me, And it's like, I mean, I guess better late than never, man. But why did you drag us all through this shit if you weren't going to go down with the ship? You know what I mean? God damn it. But hey, like I said, better late than never. Let's see here. What else did I want to pull from this? Like they said earlier, it's going to be, I guess, February 7th when we get the actual sentencing. He was facing potentially a lot of time if he hadn't. So, hey. What he's up against now is a sentence of 75 to 87 months, including a mandatory minimum 2-year sentence for aggravated identity theft. Let's see here. Was there anything else I really wanted to pull? Santos is required to pay the restitution 30 days before his sentencing on February 7th and could face additional sanctions if he fails to pay in time. Also, I guess it's worth noting that, yeah, he is not going to be running again. I think he announced that he wasn't going to be doing that anymore in, like, April. I just didn't cover it. So, yeah, I mean, more or less this is kind of the end of the chapter. Like I said, we'll come back and talk about how much he got come next year. But it seems like, yeah, we're closing out now on this shit. Man, it's been a ride, We talked about, more or less as much as I could kind of get in there. The details are here if you want to get reacquainted. I won't really dwell on them. But yeah, I mean, hell of a run for Katara. You slayed, baby girl. Fuck. But hey, let's go ahead and move on to our last story, and we'll close it out there. It was kind of a story I didn't think I was gonna cover, and then I was like, nah, I do want to cover it, because it's a craw in my fucking mouth, man, how some of these people move. And they're supposed to be, like, judges and, like, people who are, like, supposed to be, like, have our best interest at heart and at mind, and, like, I don't know. We'll get into what happened here, and, maybe you can say if this is worth talking about or not. But let's go ahead and take our last break, and we'll go ahead and close it out. All right. Ooh. This comes from, I believe, MSNBC. Yeah. Judge suspended after putting a teen in handcuffs for sleeping in court during a field trip. Bro, like, this is literally like a field trip from hell to me. Like, and maybe that's what bothers me at its core, because as far as I was really blessed growing up, every field trip that I went on was fun in the sense of we were going to do something fun, and or it was, like, fun in, like, the educational sense of, like, oh, this is like an IRL Magic School Bus vibe, right? Like, we're going to a place, and yeah, we're going to learn, but, like, we're gonna go and do, like, some fossil stuff, and, like, sure, we're not, like, shrinking the thing and, like, going Osmosis Jones style in someone's body, but, like, what I'm saying is, we're going on a field trip, we're all getting in, and we're all gonna have a fun time, and have a cute little lunch with our peers and our teachers, and this is gonna be, like, a fun day. But, like, having a field trip where you go to, like, a fucking court and it's boring and shitty as fuck, like, that doesn't sound fun as hell. And imagine this goes from that to something even worse for you as a student. A judge in Detroit has been suspended after he ordered a teenage girl to be handcuffed and threatened her with jail after she fell asleep in his courtroom during a field trip. District Court Judge Kenneth King was temporarily removed from the docket after an internal investigation and will undergo the necessary training to address the underlying issues that contributed to this incident, Chief Judge William McConio said in a statement Thursday. And I think it was this element that made me say, thank God, because I truly believed in my heart of hearts that this was going to go unchecked, unpunished, nothing. This person had to go through what I'm about to describe, and there was going to be no repercussion for it, because it's like, hey, she had the audacity to fall asleep in my courtroom. Like, what are you, Judge Mathis? No, you're not even. Like, you're not even Judge Joe fucking Brown. You're boring as fuck, bro, and she fell asleep. But let's talk about it. The 15-year-old girl was in King's courtroom Tuesday as part of a group trip organized by the Greening of Detroit, a local nonprofit organization, to help young people learn about the judicial process. A now-deleted YouTube video showed the girl falling asleep between the hearings, when King yelled at her and ordered her to be put in handcuffs and to change into a Wayne County Jail jumpsuit. The Detroit Free Press reported. And I remember just reading that and my jaw dropped. I'm like, what the fucking hell, dude? Because, yes, obviously we've all been on field trips. Now, I don't know if you've ever, attended a court thing as a teenager, as a school kid. I've also done that as well. At my school, once a year, we would trick out the auditorium, or one of the auxiliary auditoriums, or whatever the fuck it was. And we would have a judge come in and run court in our school building. And the whole day, they would just run students, and we would just watch. And it was so bizarre. And I remember one time I went, and it was literally one of my peers, one of, my, not a classmate per se, but obviously, someone in our school. And it was everyone's like, oh my God, I know this person. And it was crazy. Excuse me. Well, this is a bad burp. But looking back on that, that's traumatic as fuck for that person to have to go through a whole process of yeah, I did a bad thing. I'm going through the whole judicial process. I'm going to the fucking court system. And now I have to see my peers, my classmates and shit. And now they all know. You don't even have to look it up. You just get to see me. No one had to go through this for the sake of learning. No thanks. I didn't learn anything that day other than the T. That's it. And I wish I didn't, for real. So, I can understand how someone who is once a 15-year-old is yeah, no, I'm cool on this. I don't give a fuck. And they just fell asleep. And essentially that put this motherfucker, this judge, this puts King over the edge. And, here we go. I mean, there's more here. King's excessively punitive reaction to the teen falling asleep has been widely condemned. He told WXYZ TV on Tuesday that he was not so much disturbed by her falling asleep, but by her whole attitude and her whole disposition. And it's I wish older people understood, and I know I say this as a 33-year-old man. I have become that class, I feel like. But I wish people who are older and who like to talk down to people could understand that they are doing the exact same thing of saying, hey, I hate this person's attitude, and they say, I just didn't like their disposition. And it's dude, you're having an attitude here too. You essentially got upset that someone fell asleep with you, and then you're yelling at them and they didn't respond the way you wanted to, you yelling at them on a fucking field trip. Let's remind that to you guys, let's run that shit back. And it's yeah, and then you wanted to make an example out of her. And it's that's just crazy to me that this guy just thought, well, yeah, that's just business to me. That's just another day to me. No, man. And maybe, hey, and this is me being 100% real. You're getting into my mind, Karen, here, how I'm feeling, my thoughts. I would have thought this was not a black judge. And sure enough, it is a black judge. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, this is giving Menace to Society vibes or whatever it fucking was. I can't remember what. Boys in the Hood. That's the movie I'm thinking of, where you have that shitty fucking black cop harassing Cuba Gooding Jr.'s character, and it's dude, you have this power, and you're just using it in this the cruelest, sadistic way, and I feel you're not even aware of it in your head. You're just playing it out, and you think this is fine and okay. No, it's not fine and okay. This is real fucking weird what you're doing. It's strange what you're doing. It's cruel and unusual what you're doing. So yeah. So yes, sorry for the bad movie reference, but I really wanted to talk about this shit. You know what I mean? So thank you for listening to me today. That's it though. That's all I have. Let's see here. If you want to help out the effort, patreon.com/Isaiah News. become a newsie today. Shout out at the top of the month. Let's see. Free ways to hit me up, isaiahnews1@gmail.com. Feel free to follow me or the podcast on any of the socials you're on. Hit that subscription button, hit that follow button on whatever listening app you're on. Really helps out for the YouTube. I will say, YouTube's become a ghost town. It's kind of sad. Nope, but hey, at the same time, though, people are listening on the TikTok, so I guess that's cool. But, I'm really always, just trying to get the numbers up. But the YouTube, I am trying to get that subscription number up, and up. Leave a cool comment, leave a like, all those things. Sharing is caring. It can be fun. But yeah, thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for being a friend, and hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.